Hello, welcome to Second Story Garage. I'm Quentin Young, and I'm here with Bonnie Paine and Annie Paine. Bonnie Paine, a lot of people know from Elephant Revival. And Annie, her sister, you grew up in Tahlequah? Tahlequah, thank you. And you played music together as kids. And you just told me that Annie is a big part about why you play music. So tell me about that and your early formation as musicians. Annie, let's start with you.
Okay. I think that she can't say that I'm a big part of why she plays music, only that we, sort of as sisters, growing up together, just came together as, I don't know, like, we used to have parties in our house with Randy Crouch, which is a local mad fiddler musician. Great man. And one night, I think all the parents were asleep, and we'd been playing on drums and jamming around a little bit, and we all got up on different instruments, and sort of Bonnie got on the guitar, and I got on the bass, and our other sister got on the drums, and started picking around from there, and the bass player the bass player of Randy Crouch took us under his wing and started teaching us old blues songs and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it sort of happened all together.
So what did you mean by that, Bonnie?
Well, she would find a rhythm, or we would find a rhythm anywhere that we were and slap on our legs or bang on pots and pans or a 1970 Vista Cruiser or like a car or whatever. We would just, she was always down for getting really percussive with anything, and our other sister Sarah, who's not here.
Does being sisters help connect musically, or is it just, or does that come into play, or how does that work?
Probably. I mean, I don't feel like I ever have to question where she is rhythmically or in the song. Mm-hmm. So that rules out a lot of thinking, which you don't really, is nice to not do while you're making music, just to be inside of the song as much as you can.
Yeah.
You are playing a song called Stolen for us today.
That's what Annie called it.
Yeah, that we just made up that name because it's really so new. It doesn't have a title, so that was the working title today. But it's part of a song cycle, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the first song that came from that story is Currick, which I think is going to be the name of the story. And Currick means shaky little boat. And that is about a little boy who crawls out of his crib and down onto this dock and into a currick and gets swept away out into the sea. And the song Stolen that we just played is a prequel to that. It's the story of his father. And so I can't give away the whole story, but that's part of how the story begins. Mm-hmm. And
it sounds like this has kind of novelistic dimensions. There's a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like 8 songs to it right now, 8 or 9 songs to the story.
Mm-hmm. And they're very good.
Oh, thanks.
Stolen is very beautiful.
Thank
I enjoyed listening to that. So we have a little bit of show and tell here for this episode. One thing we do with our artists is ask them to bring in something to add to our garage. And Bonnie and Annie brought us this awesome shaker straight from Swan Percussion in Austin, Texas. And we also have a songbook. Elephant Revival recently released your latest recording called It's Alive, correct? And this is part of the release, correct?
It's there's 3 albums in there. It's all 3 of the albums we've recorded, so It's Alive is there at the end.
And it includes lyrics to songs and artwork and pictures. This is a piece of art that you made yourself, correct? With cut-out paper?
Tissue and cardboard and pencils. Paint.
And the last thing we wanted to do with you is one thing you do when you perform is you play all kinds of unusual instruments, including the washboard and the saw. And so I imagine a lot of people don't know how one goes about playing a saw. Can you show us?
I can do my best. Let's see. So...
Now this is a real saw with a serrated saw, so you kind of have to be careful with it, don't you?
Be careful, yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
So yeah, if you first let it fall at about a 45-degree angle to the ground, and then apply the pressure with your knees and your thumb to make it a slight S, and then you bow perpendicular to the saw.
Now, does that change the tone? How do you change the pitch?
Yeah, that'll change the pitch. The more the S curve, see how this is bigger and this is smaller? The more that you bend it this way, it shortens it like fretting up a guitar. So... So yeah.
That is beautiful.
The vibrato comes from shaking your leg. Yeah.
Can you use just any old saw, or do you need a special kind of saw?
You can use any saw. The thinner, the better. Like any hardware store. I got a really cheap one once because I lost this for a while. I was in Europe last month, and I left this in Canterbury. And this guy showed up with a Rilner saw, and it was a small saw even, and that sounded so good. Luckily, because I didn't know what else I was going to do. And I couldn't figure out why I had left my saw on such an important day. We had this really great show, and the guy who lent me the saw at the end of the show, he said, I realized my father died 2 years ago, and that's his saw, and today's his birthday. And he would just be so happy about that. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. I'm like, well, maybe that's why I lost my saw for a day.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in and playing for us.
Thank you so much.
Bonnie and Annie play some beautiful music for us, so check out the videos. This is Second Story Garage.